While Thomas was making his way back to Radisson on his crippled Tiger, Daren and I were heading further east towards the Mirage Outfitters. So the weather is still miserable, but we caught some dinner. Daren just begged us a grouse. The relentless rain kept us cold and wet. We hunkered down on our bikes and avoided any unnecessary stops. We just raced towards the Mirage Outfitters, where we were hoping for some warm coffee, food, and a long break away from the rain. As we pulled into the Mirage, Daren's bike's rear wheel started making a very concerning grinding sound. The bike rolled the last few meters, and we quickly discovered that it was now unrideable.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether the chain's just...
Is it bearings again?
I hope not.
We were lucky enough to have this bearing fail here rather than on the side of the road 100 kilometers further. So, what do you got to say? We managed to contact Thomas. He made it safely to Radisson, checked into a hotel, and would head home the following morning as his bike was riding well enough. So let me quickly show you around my room. Over some drinks at the hotel bar, Thomas met a guy who knew a mechanic at LG4. He texted his friend, whose name was Kevin, and he told him about our predicament. If we didn't find a bearing anywhere, he would have one for us at LG4. This was great news, as LG4 was only 58 kilometers back from where we were. The manager of the Mirage must have started to feel bad for us, because he started to pour us shot after shot of tequila.
Cheers to Mirage.
The Mirage, you gotta come here.
I think he was just trying to get us drunk. So let me stay here another night.
Oh, Bambino, Bambi.
He definitely succeeded in making us feel better. The next morning, the staff of the Mirage looked through their entire parts inventory to see if there was a spare bearing for us. We were also given access to their shop and tools. Unfortunately, they were unable to find that specific bearing.
Thank you.
So I had no choice but to ride back to LG4 to see if Kevin would have it. Here, I'll give you the money, pay for it. I'll just get going now.
When you get up there, where the road turns like really good, that's where that road splits and goes in. I'm guessing it's one of these buildings on the way in.
Wish me luck. So no one in town or in this area has that bearing, so I'm heading back to LG4 to see whether or not I can get a bearing there. So it's some 50 kilometers back at kilometer marker 314. Oh, and my mirror got loose. Gonna have to fix that later. If Kevin didn't have it, we could order that part and have it added to the shipment of supplies that was due to arrive at the Mirage in about a week. Or we could drive the 2,200 kilometer round trip to Amos where that bearing could be purchased. This wasn't the place where Kevin was, but the two guys that worked there went through their entire shop trying to find a bearing for us. They didn't have it either, but they knew Kevin and they gave me directions to LG4. So that was not it. But apparently the first right and then first left, and that's where Kevin is gonna be. Bonjour. In the end, Kevin came through. Thanks a lot, you saved our life. Take care. So got the bearing. At least I think it's the same bearing. Now 50k back to the Mirage, and the trip continues. Last night, it seemed like our trip was over. Today, however, due to the generosity of the people from LG4 and the Mirage, we will be able to continue our journey. Ugh. All this, in huge part, was also thanks to Thomas. Daren, do you have what it takes to finish the Trans-Taiga?
No, I need a bearing.
I got one. I don't know if it's the right one though, because the numbers on it match exactly, but it looks different. It doesn't have the rubber casing.
Yeah, that's it.
Didn't want to take any money for it, so I threw him a 20 for beers.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Let's get it done. We got it! Daren installed the new bearing, and his bike was back to its normal self. We filled up the bikes, thanked our host for his hospitality, and took off on a 222-kilometer ride towards Brisay. There, we were hoping to find a place to camp for the night, close to the Brisay generating station gas bar that opens for only half an hour at 7 a.m. Thomas at this point was starting to make his way back towards Toronto.
I guess this makes it worth it. I'm the only one here.
The disappointment of losing Thomas after his crash turned into a sort of a blessing in disguise in the end. Although he wasn't able to ride with Daren and I, he played a very important part in our Trans-Taiga ride. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been able to continue on. Here, we found a sticker left behind by a fellow globe-trotting adventure rider, Tabasco ADV.
Put yours right beside it.
We took some pictures, shared them on Instagram, and tagged him in them. The Trans-Taiga past the Mirage was breathtaking. It was hard to ride without stopping every few minutes to take some photos.
Do you want to pull over and take a picture? Just a quick one? Here, right here. No, it's okay, good. Here, do you want a picture of you? And then you take a picture of me? Or just the bikes?
Just the bikes.
Now, today riding, it's colder, like it doesn't feel like it. If this road is like this for the remainder of the trip, it's awesome.
Occasionally a little rain would fall, but that didn't bother us at all. Our spirits were high, and nothing would bring us down. Not even the cold or occasional rain.
Yeah, it's 8 degrees. Mine says 8.
The sky turned dark as night approached.
Oh, civilization!
We made it to Brisay just after 7. Before we started looking for a campsite, we wanted to check where the gas station was. We didn't want to get lost in the morning as we only had a half-hour window to get gas.
Well, let's go check out the center. See if you can maybe grab something to drink.
As we got closer to the main building, we saw an open cafeteria through the window.
What's happening?
I decided to knock on the door to see if I can get a coffee. And then I got invited in. We got asked if we were looking for a place to stay for the night. As our plan was to camp outside, we didn't want to impose or bother anyone, so we tried to decline. Fortunately for us, we were told that there is no way that we would be allowed to sleep outside in the cold and rain. There was a place for us to spend the night, and the host would not take no for an answer. And then we saw our accommodations.
That's perfect.
This is perfect. And it comes with beer. Everybody who stayed here, they put a little note.
Yes,
Oh, that is awesome.
we're going to ride you too.
Yes, we are. You have a lot of guys on motorcycles come out this way.
Yes,
This
yes,
one, yeah?
yes.
Thank you very much.
Watch the stove.
Okay.
Absolutely flabbergasted.
Yeah, no, I'm at a loss of words. This is another example of how nice people are up here.
We were nice and warm, and Daren finally got to cook his grouse.
I'm gonna put a sticker on the wall. You came through again.
I didn't do anything.
You got me.
Accidentally knocked on that door.
You got me a bearing,
Thomas, I just drove.
and you found us this place.
Sure. You're welcome. And yeah, this is our lodging. We got warmth. We're dry. We got music. We got Christmas lights. Everything is
I got my boots drying, my seat cover drying. We had dinner.
The next morning, we were up bright and early to get to the gas bar.
Goodbye, cabin. Thank you. Thank you.
The F850 was still pretty sleepy and decided to have a little snooze. I'm glad Daren got to enjoy the sight. The wet mossy ground was a bit of a challenge for the GS.
Street tires look at you every time.
I eventually made it and we were off to gas up. Both bikes still had plenty of gas, but we calculated that if we filled up now, we could ride to the end of the Trans-Taiga, then head back all the way to the Mirage for another fill-up. There was only the last 84 kilometers left to ride to the Cani Pascal reservoir at the end of the Trans-Taiga. After the bikes got fueled up, we went to thank our host for letting us use the cabin, and then we took off towards the end of the Trans-Taiga.
So is this Trans-Taiga still? Because it tells me something else. Actually, no, you're right. Duplante 84. No, it tells me we're driving on the Chemin Cani Pascal. So great, we've done the Trans-Taiga, now we're adding some other road. 6 degrees, raining, awesome. So at what point do I get this feeling of enormous accomplishment? Don't jinx it! Now it's gonna hail.
In the distance, the sun was trying to break through the clouds.
Oh my goodness.